Well, it's the final Pac-12 men's basketball tournament taking place this week in Las Vegas, and Arizona State's curtain call not ending well. 90-57, the Sun Devils lost to the Utah Utes tonight. Paul Schultz along with Tucker Sennett for the Inferno Intel postgame show. Tucker, not much to say about that loss other than it just simply was not pretty.
It was not pretty. It was over basically from the 12th minute on. Utah was just red hot from the field. They finished shooting around 59% from the field, which was just devastating to a dysfunctional Sun Devils offense right now with Jose Perez leaving the team last week. Just ugly stuff. ASU really struggled to score, and their trademark defense was not working tonight in any way. But it just, from the jump, they were not the better team tonight, and they haven't been the better team for much of the season. And tonight was very much a microcosm of that performance in this 2023-24 campaign.
And you look at the way that things ended last year with such a heartbreaking loss, but such a close game in their March Madness game against TCU, and just a polar opposite of the way things went this year.
Yeah.
And the challenges don't get any easier. The Big 12, one of the most competitive basketball conferences in the country, if not the most. How do you reset for this team and get ready for that?
Well, it's going to be hard. Bobby Hurley talked a lot after the game about how they need to reshape the roster. He also talked about how the Big 12 is for grown men, subtracting a word there that he used that to describe grown men, but it's going to require a philosophical change, which I think they are capable of, and Coach Hurley seemed open to after tonight's loss, more so than we've seen in the past, and that's really what it's going to take. It's a fresh start could be good for this program. Big 12 basketball is some of the most elite basketball played in the country. NBA talent comes constantly from that conference, so it's going to require Arizona State to shift in a major way, and that starts with Hurley's recruiting class, which has been talked about a lot, coming in next year, making sure he can keep all those guys on board, and that could go a long way.
Yeah, you mentioned shifts and changes that are going on in this program. There's been a lot of talk this week about his contract status, Coach Hurley's contract status. But it seems like he's locked in, as he's mentioned many times throughout this troubling and challenging season. What are your thoughts on his future with the team and maybe some players that are here this year? Do you see them coming back next year?
I think Hurley's going to be here. That's what I would say tonight. Obviously, a lot can change in the constantly changing world of college athletics right now. It seems like there's a move made almost every day. I mean, Jose Perez left the team out of the blue in between games last week, so things change quickly, but my guess is Coach Hurley will be here. They will obviously lose Alonzo Gaffney, kind of a program staple leader for the program the last couple of years. Hurley had very kind things to say about his effort tonight. He fouled out early, but a program standout, I would say, in terms of attitude and commitment, and just a bitter end for him. Frankie Collins, another question mark, could see him having NBA potential. I think he could benefit from another year in college, but would not be surprised if he tested the draft waters this year, as he did briefly last season. Jemiah Neal, another question mark with some years of eligibility, but I would say Braylon Green and Akil Watson, did not get a ton of playing time this year, but could be key contributors next year because they're so young, and they were highly touted recruits this year. But just the way the roster's shaped, there weren't a ton of opportunities for those guys. And then you got Adam Miller and Sean Phillips Jr., who their status is sort of up in the air, and I could see them coming back. I could see them leaving. It's just, there's a lot that we don't know, and it will probably take a while to shake out based off of how other teams' seasons end, because players move quickly in the college game now, and we'll have to wait and see. But I personally think the Big 12 will make the program more attractive to some athletes just because of the exposure. You're on TV a lot, and that could go a long way. Obviously, the Pac-12, you're on TV a lot, but it's not quite the same as the Big 12. So we'll see how it goes. But I could see them having a very different roster and some very different looks next year, which is exciting if you're a Sun Devil fan.
Yeah. And you mentioned it, a season or an off season full of question marks and uncertainties ahead for this team. But real quick, a little on a lighter note, on a fun note, the last Pac-12 tournament for men's basketball, as we've mentioned, and the season as a whole for all sports kind of coming to a close as the year moves on. Do you have a favorite moment from covering any teams in the Pac-12, whether it be basketball or other sports, as we kind of reflect on our time?
That's an excellent question, Paul. I had the privilege of attending last year's Arizona State game in basketball, men's basketball at Arizona, which became known as the Miracle at McHale. Desmond Cambridge Jr. hit the half-court heave to secure the win, and ultimately probably secured ASU's tournament bid last year. So very special moment in my heart. One of the first road games I ever covered here at ASU, so that one will always be special to me. And being from the West Coast personally, it's hard to see the Pac-12 go, but it's nice to be here to send it off and on a good note, on a high note, with some high quality basketball. Even though Arizona State didn't put in their best effort tonight, we still saw some great games from teams like Cal and Stanford before them. Washington.
Still plenty of quality basketball left to be played over the next few days here in Las Vegas. So that'll wrap up our season full of men's basketball coverage for Inferno Intel. And check out infernointelmedia.com, our website, and our social media at Inferno Intel. For Tucker Sennett, I'm Paul Schultz. Thanks for joining us on the postgame show tonight.